So we should all know by now that single channel RAM could adversely affect your gaming PC performance. So you went out and bought yourself 2 sticks of RAM and you think, boom, dual channel, easy, right?
Wrong-o.
You see, you can still buy 2 sticks of RAM and end up in single channel mode. So today I'm going to show you how to make sure that you're in dual channel mode for your RAM, as well as show you some performance benchmarks. Alright, the first way to make sure that you're in dual channel mode is actually just look at your motherboard. You see, most motherboard manufacturers will actually notate on the motherboard which DIMM slots you should populate first to be in dual channel mode. And they began doing this because most of us won't RDFM anymore, and they got tired of taking nonsense support calls because of it. Now, if your motherboard is not marked or you're just not able to see it because of a beefy air cooler or something like that, the next way that you can tell is actually downloading and installing a program called CPU-Z, or CPU-Z for everyone that's not in the United States. But what this program will allow you to do is after it's installed, you can actually launch the program, click on the memory tab, and it'll give you all that you need to know about your memory, including whether or not it's in single or dual channel mode. Now, a lot of motherboards will actually tell you if you've installed your RAM in an unoptimized fashion, aka single channel mode, and will give you a warning about it. However, that warning sometimes only shows up on initial first boots and or can be suppressed in the BIOS. So if you've purchased your computer secondhand or the motherboard secondhand, it may be a good idea to download and install CPU-Z just to check it out and make sure. So what's the impact of actually running your PC in single channel mode? Well, if you listen to us tech tubers, you would actually believe that it's some devastating blow that your PC performance just wouldn't be able to overcome. So I decided to do my own testing and took my computer, which is an Intel 10850K, on a Z490 motherboard rocking a 2x8 gig kit of DDR4 3200 MHz RAM. I decided to run a couple of synthetic benchmarks in Cinebench R20 as well as TimeSpy, then ran a couple of gaming benchmarks to have a nice, smooth, consistent experience and chose Shadow of the Tomb Raider as well as Far Cry 5. And then also went ahead and threw in Apex Legends just to give us something with a little bit of variance that we can actually look at. So let's take a look at the results. So this was supposed to be a problem, right? So in the synthetics, we saw about a 1% difference, which is pretty negligible in the grand scheme of things, and not really something I would consider, outside the margin of error, considering this wasn't a very scientific method here. Now for gaming, the delta widened quite a bit where we went from 7% to 13% difference in the games, depending on which one it was, with Apex Legends being the highest end at 13%, which makes sense because there's more variables there as far as where you're dropping on the map, what guns, what kind of gunfights, etc. After this, I thought to myself, well, maybe it's because I'm running an Intel system and that's why the performance wasn't that bad. So I had my buddy John over at the Net Guy. Make sure to go check out his channel. I'll have it linked in the description down below. And I had him run some tests on a Ryzen system. And his results were, well, the same. So he ran the Cinebench R20 benchmark for me in both single channel and dual channel mode. And quite frankly, we came with about a 1% difference in both of those areas. So does that mean we should just run single channel RAM and throw out the conventional wisdom? Well, no, dual channel RAM is still going to give you better performance, and especially if you're doing workloads where every second counts. So if you're constantly doing Blender or some kind of content creation, or you're just making money with your PC in general, you want to make sure that you use dual channel because every second matters in that scenario. As far as gaming, 7 to 10% sounds like a lot, or 7 to 13% sounds like a lot. However, it usually equates to about 10 frames per second, and unless you're an ultra competitive gamer that's doing competitions, really you're probably not going to notice the difference between 103 frames per second and 90 frames per second. Alright, so dual channel good, single channel maybe not as bad as we thought, but you still want to run in dual channel. And if you want to see how I pick out PC RAM, check out this video right here. And if you want to see how I pick out other components when I'm building a system, maybe look at this playlist down here. And as always guys, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.